Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Melissa and I'm the owner of seasonandserveblog.com. This is part 2 of our Japan travel vlog, and this vlog is all about the food. We traveled to Japan for our honeymoon recently and we ate probably the most amazing food I've ever had in my life in Japan. From train station food to street food to Japanese staples and all the way to seafood markets and high-end dining experiences, including eating Kobe beef, we ate it all. If you missed part 1 of our travel vlog, make sure you go back and watch that to see all the amazing sights we saw from Tokyo down to southern Japan. But for now, let's get into the food and let me show you why my face was like this at the end of every single meal.
Yes. Oh my god. What the heck? I never want this to end.
After a long flight from Vancouver to Tokyo Haneda Airport, we arrived and enjoyed our first bowl of ramen. This ramen was so warm and comforting and put us right to bed so we can get ready for the next day. After waking up in Tokyo, we got our first breakfast and we went to a place called Ginza Renoir, which was a really cute cafe, and we got a sandwich with chicken and eggs in it. It also came with a bowl of consomme and a bowl of yogurt and berries. After enjoying that healthy breakfast, it gave us enough energy to walk around some gardens and do a little bit of shopping, which was super fun. And for lunch, we stopped off in Harajuku for some udon noodle soup. I enjoyed this delicious bowl of tempura udon, which came with little tempura bits, as well as a side of tempura shrimp. And David got to enjoy these udon noodles that you dip into broth as well. These udon noodles were cooked perfectly. They were nice and soft on the outside, but still a little bit chewy on the inside, and I also really enjoyed the broth that came with it as well. My favorite part though had to be the tempura shrimp. The tempura batter was super crispy and the shrimp was really fresh. I ate shrimp at basically any chance I get because David can't have any because he's allergic, so I thoroughly enjoyed this meal. For dinner, we met up with our friend Wally, and he took us to this amazing restaurant called Maguro Mart, which means tuna mart. This restaurant served a bunch of different cuts of bluefin tuna, and it was definitely one of my top 3 favorite places we went in Japan in our whole trip. So for our first course, we actually had some eel. It was eel with a bit of lotus root, which was really good. And then we got into the tuna. The first course was this little tuna tartare with an egg on top. This first bite was a little taste of heaven, but then we got into the tuna sampler where you could enjoy all these different cuts of tuna. This was absolutely incredible to taste the textures and the different flavors of the tuna. We began by trying the Atami, or the red part of the fish, and this cut doesn't have a lot of fat, so you really taste the tuna flavor. Then we moved on to trying the toro and the chutoro portions of the tuna, and this is a fattier cut of fish, normally coming from the abdomen area. But with the fattier fish, it really just melts in your mouth. Very tender, very delicious, but nothing compared to this cut. I think this was from the ocular bone, so behind the eye of the fish. This was super fatty, super tender, and just literally melted in your mouth. It was incredible. And we also got to enjoy some lightly grilled Atami tuna. This looks like tuna, but it actually tasted just like steak. It was incredible, especially dipped in a little bit of salt. For our third course, we got to enjoy this huge tuna fin. This was cooked really Chinese style with soy sauce, ginger, and scallions. It was absolutely incredible, just fall off the bone. And then the fourth course, we had some tuna mixed with an uni sauce, and there was some roe on top. This was really good. If you never had uni before, it's very fishy, very oceany, and kind of a bit of a cheesy note. So it's a bit of an acquired taste, but I really enjoyed it. And for our fifth course, we enjoyed some tempura. There was tuna wrapped in shiso leaf and then put in tempura batter. There was tempura prawns and tempura vegetables. The star of this had to be this tempura corn. This was amazing. I've never had anything like this, and I just want to eat it again. And for the final course, you actually get to enjoy the carcass of the tuna, and they give you these little wooden spoons, and all you do is just scrape all the meat off the bones of the tuna. It is super fun, super interactive, and then once you have all the meat scraped off, you actually wrap it in some seaweed with some rice and enjoy it as a little wrap. Overall, this meal was absolutely incredible, and what's even more incredible was the price. It was only $40 per person. I couldn't even imagine what this would cost in Canada, but overall I was a very happy girl at the end of this meal. On the next day, I woke up and had to get some shoes. If you missed that entire part of that storyline, go back to part 1 and see what happened. But after successfully getting some shoes, we got some food really quick just at 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven in Japan is amazing. Everyone says you have to go there, and I'm going to tell you that too. So many different options for food, for beverages. My favorite thing at 7-Eleven was actually their eggs. This is probably the best egg I've ever eaten in my life. And you just buy it like this, it's like 50 cents and it's incredible. And after eating the best egg of my life, we decided to stop in at the Muji Cafe to grab some lunch. And they had this really great lunch set menu. Came with chicken, ratatouille, salad, and a side of rice and miso soup. This food was so fresh, so nutritious, and I found that every single meal we had was really well balanced and just tasted super healthy. And as you can see, I thoroughly enjoyed this tasty lunch.
Oh my god, that's delicious. Muji. Now the ratatouille. Your eggplant. But it's pumpkin salad. It's like edamame, beans, squash, mayo. Oh, and curry. I'm gonna make that at home. That's really good. Oh, that's really a good way to eat squash.
No, my dad has so much. We can make it for him.
After enjoying that lunch, we went for dinner with some of our friends and we went to Ibisu. This beer hall was super fun. It was a German beer hall meets Olive Garden in a sense. A lot of the food was Italian inspired, like these fried gnocchi and this pasta puttanesca. It was really good. The play with Italian food was really fun and we really enjoyed this meal and catching up with our friends. The next day we were leaving Tokyo and traveling down to Osaka, so we checked out of our hotel and made our way over to the train station where we enjoyed our first bowl of curry. I got a mild curry with an egg for breakfast and David had the spicy curry version, and this was a super cheap meal coming in at just $9 for both of us. Of course, I had to give a little bit of a yolk break action. Again, these yolks are super creamy and these eggs are just absolutely delicious. So it was really good on its own, but then dipped in the curry sauce, it was even better. Since the train ride was going to be a couple hours, we decided to grab some snacks before getting on the train. And in the train stations, they have these beautiful markets all full of different foods. The train stations had lots of bento box options, sushi options, salad options, and you could even get really fancy desserts here too. And we even saw a cheese store in the train station, which absolutely blew my mind. It was incredible. Out of all those options, we decided to try some croquettes. These look super fresh and smelled amazing. So we picked up a cheese one, a minced meat one with pork, and just a plain potato one. And they were all incredible. They were super crispy at the store, but even having them packaged up, getting on the train, sitting down, and then opening the box to enjoy them, they were still crispy and delicious. Plus, it was even better served with a little bit of the tonkatsu sauce on top. It was absolutely amazing. Great train food for sure. And then to balance all that fried food, I got a salad as well. There was pumpkin in season, so there's pumpkin in everything, and it was really great in the salad. So after traveling for a few hours on the Shinkansen, we arrived in Osaka and we visited the Osaka Aquarium. There was a bit of a delay for the entry, so we ended up getting a snack. So we got a pork katsu and some shrimp tempura. David ate the pork, I ate the shrimp. It came with cabbage and rice. It was a good little snack. After that meal, we were full and ready to enjoy the aquarium. We had such a good time here, and our favorite was definitely the whale sharks. They were super big and just beautiful. If you want to see more of the aquarium, definitely see part 1 of their travel vlog, and I'll leave that linked in the description box below. After enjoying the aquarium for a few hours, we made our way back to Osaka to our hotel called the New Otani, and we enjoyed a drink at their bar. This is where I fell in love with Japanese plum wine with just a little splash of soda water. It was absolutely incredible. After all that activity for the day, we were pretty tired and we wanted to really enjoy this crazy 80s hotel room that we were staying in. If you missed that, go to see part 1. So we decided to order room service. And for dinner this evening, we got a katsudon, which is a fried pork cutlet with egg. And then we also got some takoyaki, and it came with sides of rice and a delicious miso soup. Now the food here was fairly expensive, mainly because it's a fancy hotel and it was room service, but overall it was really good, high quality food, and we really enjoyed it.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh my god. That's also very good miso soup.
Yeah. Oh, I know what's missing the ambulance. So finally we are here. I can ask you. How are you?
What do you do for work? That's also very good. Expensive, but at least it's really good.
Oh, it's worth the price.
Yeah.
It's a high-end piece of pork.
After enjoying that delicious meal at the hotel, we were super energized and ready to go to Himeji. Since we were going on the Shinkansen train again, we decided to grab some bento boxes at the station. There's so many bento boxes to choose from, it was actually really difficult to choose which kind you want because there's so many available. But we landed on these two. Mine had egg and vegetables, and I got a little octopus salad. And then David got this beef bento box. I think it was Wagyu or it could have been Kobe beef, I don't quite remember, but he really enjoyed it. And overall, the bento boxes make really great train food. They're so compact. Again, well-balanced meal, very nutritious, and it'll give you energy to fuel you throughout the day. After arriving in Himeji, we visited this beautiful garden called Kokoen Garden. It was so much fun and we really enjoyed our time here, going through all the gardens and seeing all the different plants. And we also made a discovery in Kokoen Garden. There was a really nice tea house that you can go to. It was fairly inexpensive, I think maybe $10 or less per person. And these women bring out a beautiful cup of matcha and a little cake for you to have. Super fun. The experience only lasts maybe 5 minutes, but the matcha is delicious and it's nice having a little something sweet during the day just to keep your energy levels up. But we had a really great time here. And this cake was actually fairly sweet. It had a really nice sweet outside and a sweet bean paste in the middle. It was delicious. After that little snack, we spent a little bit more time in the garden, and then we went for a full-on workout at Himeji Castle. There are lots of steps to get up through this castle, and it was quite a workout. So after that, we were fairly hungry and decided to grab some takoyaki. We just visited Himeji Castle and we have some more takoyaki to try. So this is from a touristy stand, but we're starving. So let's try this one out. Hot. Good. We really enjoyed this takoyaki because the pieces of octopus inside were absolutely massive. It was so delicious. After enjoying that, we decided to make our way back to the train station, and we had to walk through this huge long mall to get there. There were lots of different shops, and we decided to stop in at a grocery store to pick up some grapes. The grapes and any fruit in general in Japan is really high quality, really juicy and fresh, so it's always a must try. So we got some green grapes and some purple grapes, and we'll do a little bit of a grape taste test later on in this vlog. As we continued walking through the shopping mall, we stumbled upon this beautiful coffee shop and we knew we had to go inside. We were lucky enough to sit at the bar and watch the coffee master work his magic and make the most amazing cup of coffee I've ever had in my life. There were so many coffees from all over the world and they were prepared so well that you really got to enjoy the flavors of the coffee and you could actually taste the difference between different coffees, which was amazing. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that my husband David is really into coffee and doing his latte arts, so he really enjoyed watching the guy make all these different coffees with all the different tools. As a result, we may be getting some extra coffee tools in our house, but It's all good because this coffee was amazing. It also came with the cutest little cup of cream on the side. This is the tiniest little thing I've ever seen, but it was so adorable. And the coffee was great on its own, but with the cream was incredible. So after that, we got back on the train and made our way to Kobe. And when in Kobe, you have to have Kobe beef, and there are tons of ways to enjoy it, but we decided to go teppanyaki style, where the chef cooks it directly in front of you. And whenever you have Kobe beef at a restaurant, look for the plaque and the trophy. The restaurant should have this, and this is a way to tell that this is actual Kobe beef that you're eating. So we began this meal with a glass of beer, and then we moved on to a salad. This was a nice little starter salad that the chef prepared in front of us, really amazing. And then we were brought out this beautiful Kobe beef starter. The beef was barely cooked, it just had like a light kiss of the grill on the outside, and it was amazing. And then he brought out this beautiful Kobe beef. We actually got to choose the cuts. We actually went for cheaper cuts, but it didn't really make a difference because it was so incredible. The guy said, like, you're not really gonna tell a difference unless you've had Kobe beef multiple times, so just start out here and you guys should be good. Then he started grilling the beef and the vegetables on the grill in front of us, and it was an amazing experience. You have to listen to the sound.
Wow. All that bread's gonna be so good at the end.
Yeah.
But first we tried the Kobe beef on its own, and then he said to try it with a little bit of wasabi and some soy sauce, and that was my most favorite way to enjoy it. So delicious, so succulent, and a little salty and spicy.
Oh my god. I never want this to end. This is like amazing.
Yeah, this is the cheap one.
Yeah.
Overall, the beef was so fatty, so delicious. You didn't even have to chew it. It was that tender and soft. It was absolutely incredible. We had such a good time here. The chef made us feel super welcome, and we had a great time chatting with him. And then for dessert, they brought out this delicious vanilla pudding. I think there was a little bit of caramel at the bottom too. And this was the perfect dessert because it was the same texture as the beef, like just creamy, melt in your mouth, delicious. This is a meal that I will never forget. The next day we had a fairly slow start because my feet decided to betray me, and when David was out getting some medical supplies, he picked me up an Ebi Mayo burger from McDonald's. This was incredible. We need to have this in Canada. And with that, we also enjoyed our grapes that we bought the other day.
And we picked up some grapes the other day. Everyone says to eat the green ones, and the green ones are good, the Shine Muscats. But these purple ones literally taste like grape juice, like Welch's grape juice, or like artificial grape flavor, like grape pop. They are so good. They are huge as well. It's absolutely insane. So crunchy and juicy too. So yeah, everyone says get the green grapes, but the purple grapes are truly an experience because we can't get these in Canada, at least not any store that I know of. I also noticed in all the grapes that we've had, the grapes at the bottom of the bunches are always sweeter than the ones at the top. So if you work your way down, they get sweeter and sweeter, which is amazing, but are absolutely stunning. It's probably my favorite thing we've had on this trip, actually, these grapes. Better than Kobe beef? I don't know.
It's different.
It's a different type of enjoyment.
It was $15 for this bunch.
It was expensive, yeah. But so worth it.
Totally worth it.
Is it worth it? Grape cheers! Yay!
Then for dinner, we went out in Osaka to an area called Dotonbori. We saw all the touristy spots down there, and then we decided to walk around and look for dinner. We stumbled upon lots of cute little shops. We stumbled on this fugu restaurant, and we thought that may be a little bit too adventurous and a little risky for our lives. So in the end, we decided to grab some ramen. We went to a place called Ramen Lazuli, and this ramen was delicious. What really made it was the ground black pepper on top for me. It was incredible, and of course the eggs, you know that they were amazing. Overall, this restaurant was super fun. The owner was super cool, very surfer dude, and the restaurant had this really cool Okinawa Hawaii theme, so it was really cool. After dinner, we went literally right next door and we got some takoyaki for dessert. This takoyaki had a really nice crispy batter on the outside, and there was lots of octopus on the inside, so this was definitely one of our favorites. So after that delicious meal, we headed back to the hotel to rest up for our next day. After waking up in the morning, we decided to grab a quick iced coffee and head out to the train to get to Kuruman Ichiban Market. Now, this is a super famous seafood market in Osaka, and it is filled with so much seafood. It is honestly incredible. The most popular items there were definitely the crab and the shrimp, but there was also lots of octopus, scallops, oysters, clams, uni. There were so many amazing things there. It was all beautiful and looked delicious. I knew we were in the right place when we saw the shop owners taking the food directly from their stalls and grilling them right in front of us. This was it. So the first thing we got was some scallops. Then we went a few stalls down and saw this woman on the corner grilling scallops in their shells just on this beautiful charcoal grill right there. We knew we had to try it when we saw her adding some Hokkaido butter into it. This was definitely a must try.
We're at the Kuruman market, and there's a bunch of vendors, fish, seafood, everything. It's beautiful. We got some grilled scallop. Oh my god, the butter. The butter here is so good. It's amazing. I love it.
After enjoying that delicious scallop, we also got a grilled oyster. This was absolutely incredible, super fresh and amazing. And then for the star of the show, we got some crab. All the crab at the market was already pre-cooked, and all they did was just simply reheat it over a charcoal grill.
Alright, so I got some crab legs and a shrimp, and David got some beautiful sashimi because he can't have any crab or shrimp. Still gonna be good though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That head is gonna be good if you eat the head.
Oh yeah,
There's
that's
still
definitely
lots
happening.
of meat there.
Alright, bon appetit!
Yeah.
So I thought this crab was amazing on its own, but it was even better dipped in a little bit of soy sauce and wasabi and mayonnaise. That was incredible.
Oh my gosh, this is delicious. Alright, I thought just plain was good, but with mayonnaise and wasabi, it is amazing. That's it, that's one.
And randomly, after eating all that seafood, we decided to have some milk. This wasn't any milk, this was Hokkaido milk.
Washing it down with some Hokkaido milk. It's like drinking cream. It's so good. Yes, David got some yogurt.
This yogurt's really good. Creamy as well.
Yeah, so good. Cheers.
After finishing up at the market, we made our way to Nara and visited a temple and walked around all of Nara Park. Basically, we saw so many deer. It was so fun and enjoyable. Really had a great time here. But after all that walking, all that sightseeing, we were fairly hungry, so we decided to stop off at the most picturesque Starbucks I've ever seen, and we enjoyed some of Starbucks' fall drinks and food in Japan. When we were there, they had a Halloween frappuccino called a Boo Frappuccino, and it was a caramel-based frappuccino that was dyed black, and in the bottom there was some pumpkin pudding. The contrast of the texture and the flavor was amazing. And we also got to dig into a sweet potato chiffon cake. This was like eating air. It was so light and fluffy and absolutely delicious. I always think it's kind of fun visiting North American chains in other countries just to see the different types of foods that they have, and I can definitely say the Starbucks in Japan is way better than the Starbucks in Canada. They definitely need to bring some of those food items and drink items to Canada soon. After Starbucks, we were continuing to walk around Nara, and we stumbled upon the famous place where they make mochi. Now, we weren't there when they were doing the whole mochi show where the guys were pounding the mochi in the window. Unfortunately, we missed that, but there was still lots of fresh mochi that was available, so we decided to pick some up.
All right, mochi.
Cheers. Oh, it's so soft.
Oh, wow.
Since this mochi was incredibly fresh, it was really soft, and the red bean filling inside was super sweet, but the soybean powder on the outside was really nutty and really balanced the sweetness of the red bean. And before we left Nara, we had to stop off at this bar called Lamp Bar. We went here on a recommendation from our friend Dallas. He said we had to go here. It is one of the top 50 bars in Asia, and boy, was he right. The bar had a really cool speakeasy vibe. There wasn't many chairs, but there are secret rooms inside, so as it gets busier during the night, they actually open up more areas of the bar. And everything here was just so amazing, so elegant in the way the bartender made the cocktails. And the bartender, he's actually like internationally renowned. He was absolutely amazing. So for our first cocktails, David had an old fashioned, and it was made with a Japanese twist, so I think there was a Japanese whiskey in there. And then I had a gimlet, but he actually made it with grapefruit instead of lime, and he had a really nice local gin, which tasted amazing. It was so delicious. We also had some other drinks there. I had another drink with plum wine. I forget what David had, but oh, these cocktails were expensive, but they were the best cocktails we probably ever had in our lives. After finishing up at Lamp Bar, we stumbled through the streets trying to find dinner. We weren't really sure where to go, so we just ended up going to a local sort of bar, and I had a Japanese omelet here. Again, the egg obsession continued throughout my entire trip here. And we also got some yakisoba with mentaiko on top. And very happily, David enjoyed this Hiroshima style okonomiyaki. Hiroshima style is his favorite way to have okonomiyaki because it's in layers, all the ingredients, as opposed to Osaka style, which is where all the ingredients are mixed together. So he was very happy.
Japanese restaurants in Vancouver, take note. This is Hiroshima style. You can make it.
It is possible. There you go. Hiroshima style okonomiyaki.
And after enjoying that meal, we just walked around for a bit before returning to our hotel to rest. So the next day, we ended up on the train and traveling down to Hiroshima. Since it was a train day, we decided to pick up some food at the station, so we got some smoothies, and we also got a bento bowl. This was probably the best bento bowl I had. The chicken was super good, the potatoes and the veggies, everything was absolutely incredible. Before making our way all the way to Hiroshima, we made a stop before because David wanted to get this Hakata-style ramen from this restaurant. It was really cool at this restaurant. You had to order using a machine. I thought this was pretty cool and really intuitive, especially if they have the English menus, but even just like Google Translate on your phone works really well with Google Lens. So we enjoyed this delicious Hakata-style ramen. This was made with a pork broth, and it was nice and milky and creamy and delicious. I really love green onions, so I asked for extra onions. And we also got to enjoy our first gyoza on this trip, but after enjoying that, absolute tragedy had struck David.
What happened?
My sesame spilled.
Oh no, David.
No.
So after that horrible experience, we basically cried the rest of the day, not because of the ramen incident, but because we were at the Hiroshima Memorial. Super sad, but after that we made our way over to Miyajima. And this is on an island, and this was a beautiful ferry ride over. We went at sunset, and we were having an amazing time. Since we were visiting here during the fall, they actually had their momiji out, and momiji is a special fall dessert that they have in Japan that's shaped like a maple leaf and it's filled with different fillings. So we got to pick up some as souvenirs, and we also enjoyed some when we got to our hotel. They provided us with some delicious chestnut filled ones. These were absolutely incredible. So they can be seasonal like chestnut or pumpkin, but the more common flavors include red bean, chocolate, matcha, and custard. Shortly after, we had a dinner reservation, so we got all dressed for that and headed down to the restaurant in the ryokan. Alright, we're in our yukatas and we're on our way to dinner at the restaurant Miyajima at our hotel. So I'm excited. This is going to be like a traditional dinner and I think it's going to be amazing. And I was completely right. This dinner was absolutely amazing. Very traditional Japanese style. We had such an amazing experience here. This was the menu, pause to read, but everything was amazing. We started off with this mushroom and egg and fish roe custard. It was so incredible. Then we had this amazing selection of appetizers, all in this beautiful bento box. Everything was beautifully presented. All the ingredients are super high quality. It was just insane. And the fall theme that was going on here was absolutely adorable. This little mini persimmon was filled with yuzu, which was super cool and very seasonal. So we enjoyed our appetizers before drinking some delicious Japanese sake. This is amazing sake. You have to try this one, David.
Yeah.
Alright, David said the mouthfeel on this persimmon is supposed to be really good, so. What the heck? It also has like a mochi with like a yuzu filling.
And then it bursts in your mouth.
Oh my god. I gotta figure out how to make that at home. Included with our appetizers was some tuna and some hamachi. This was really great fish. And then we also had an oyster. This oyster was huge, but it was so sweet and delicious. Lightly salty like the ocean, absolutely incredible. After enjoying that, we also had this delicious beef and mushroom soup. Mushrooms were in season, so they made this delicious soup with that and beef. The umami flavor was out of this world. So tender. Oh my gosh. And even though that was good, it got even better with this amazing bouillabaisse. Bouillabaisse is a seafood soup. And in this one, there was fish and shrimp in mine. David had a different one, but this was my favorite thing at this meal. Absolutely delicious. The most delicious seafood stock ever. And after that amazing course, we enjoyed some fried oysters. This came with some dipping sauce and salt, but it was just great on its own. And then for the next course, we had a dark miso soup with some chestnut rice and some pickles. This was so good. It felt so healthy and amazing. Then for dessert, we had a little tiny piece of chocolate pudding. It was just the right amount. And then we also had some Asian pear and a grape and some tea. It was the perfect way to end this delicious meal. After enjoying that big meal, we decided to go for a walk afterwards, and then we came back to the hotel to sleep. The next day we woke up relaxed and super refreshed and then headed down to the restaurant to have a traditional Japanese breakfast. This was our first traditional Japanese breakfast on this trip, and there was lots of different side dishes and things to try. Even came with soup again and a little dessert. This was yogurt and some fruit juice. Absolutely incredible. And I highly recommend that if you visit Miyajima, stay at this hotel. It's called Ryokan Iwaso. The food was amazing. The experience was amazing. I will definitely be back here. After checking out of the hotel, we took the ferry back over to the mainland and then hopped on a train to go north to Atami. We decided to pick up a beer from Miyajima Brewery, and then we also got a bento box. This bento box was super good, and we also made sure to stop at Mr. Donut. This is a Japanese donut store that they have kind of all over Japan, and David said I had to try some of these donuts, so we got this special Halloween one, the like cat. It was so cute. We also got what they're famous for. This is like a mochi pon de leon donut, it's called. We also got a sweet potato donut. This one was my favorite, so crispy and delicious. And then we got a custard filled one with sugar on top. These snacks were really great for the train because we were on it for 6 hours, and they held us over till dinner when we went to our hotel called Relax Resort Hotel in Atami. Now this dining experience was super unique because it was a Japanese-Italian dinner, so the infusion of both cultures was really cool. We started off with a little bruschetta, and then we had some sashimi with some vegetables, very refreshing, and we also got some Iberico ham. This was like extra special treat for us. The next course was a cauliflower soup that was really creamy and delicious, and then we followed that with a sea urchin pasta, very oceany, amazing. And then we got to experience a bit of a show. We had our next course, which was this amazing snapper with a clam, some olives, and tomato with a bunch of olive oil. It was so good. And then we got to enjoy the Sakura smoked chicken. So they took cherry wood and smoked it with the chicken. This was incredible. You could really taste that delicious smoky flavor through the chicken. It was amazing. So they served this with some vegetables. And then for dessert, we enjoyed some banana flambe with some ice cream and fruit. It was amazing. And the service here was so good. They knew it was our anniversary, so they really went above and beyond to create a memorable dining experience for us. I'll tell you, they were very generous with the wine.
How drunk are you right now?
The wine clubs are amazing.
We're so wasted. I have my flush going and everything. This meal's been amazing though. They've done such, wow, this angle. That's how you know I'm drunk. I'm filming like from here. Oh my god, they're so nice. They took a lot of attention to detail. It's so sweet. I'm gonna eat my banana flambe. Hopefully that'll help.
I can say we slept super well that night after that amazing meal and all of that wine. So the next morning we woke up and enjoyed a bath in the onsen while enjoying this beautiful view. I can't get over how much this looks like the Amalfi Coast. I think there may have been an Italian influence from that in dinner last night. But after that we had our breakfast. We actually had it in the hotel room and it was a traditional Japanese breakfast. So there was fish, salad, natto, rice, miso soup, all these amazing side dishes. Such a great balanced breakfast, and this gave us enough energy to get back up to Tokyo and check into our hotel. After checking in and dropping our luggage, we went to this restaurant called Oban de Gohan. This was several floors of restaurants underneath the hotel, so we picked this place and we got a nice set lunch again. I got a fried chicken set lunch and David got a pork set lunch, and these set lunches are just amazing, so nutritionally balanced and lots of different vegetables, which is really great when you're traveling. After that, we stopped at the Matcha Tokyo and got an iced matcha latte. This was super delicious, and we went back here at least 2 or 3 more times just to get this. It was an incredible matcha latte. And sadly, this was our last dinner in Japan, so we met up with our friends Wally and Joe, and they took us out for yakiniku. And yakiniku is like a Korean barbecue where you get to grill meat directly at the table. And we went all out. We got all of the best cuts of meat. We got Wagyu. Everything was delicious. And Wally cooked it all for us on the grill. It was absolutely amazing. So we tried a bunch of different cuts of meat. We even tried beef tongue, which was super good. I love the chewy texture of it. And when all the meat was cooked, it had this beautiful grilled flavor, and it was really great topped with some scallions. After all of that greasy beef, we decided to go out to have a couple more beers to kind of cleanse the palate. So we went out to the bars and we had lots more beers. This was super good. The beer was super cool, refreshing, and really easy to drink. And we even got some more skewers and some bacon as well. On our last day in Tokyo, we woke up and we had to get these Japanese pancakes. We waited for about 45 minutes in line to enjoy these kaiseki pancakes, but they were so worth it. You could see the jiggle just on the plate when they were freshly brought out. They were incredibly soft, just like eating air. I got a strawberry one, David got a chocolate and banana one. These are absolutely worth it. You must try these when you go to Japan. And And for our last lunch in Japan, David really wanted to take me to Kokoichi, which is a famous curry house that they have all throughout Japan. And I got a curry katsu, so it was a breaded pork cutlet, and I added some cheese to the curry, which was a total game changer. I'm definitely adding cheese to my curry from now on.
It's spicy. So good.
After our lunch, we just killed some time, did some extra shopping, and enjoyed the last of Tokyo while we got to. We reflected on all the amazing food that we had on this trip. Everything was incredible. I think I said the word delicious 1,000 times, but when we got to the airport, we had our final meal and we got some udon soup. Even at the airport, the meal was good, and I got an egg, of course, with my udon, so it was amazing. And that is it for today's video. I know that was a lot of food, so thank you for sticking with me if you made it all the way to the end. Don't forget to visit part 1 if you missed that, where you'll see all the different sites that we saw in Japan. And again, all of the food that we had was absolutely amazing and delicious. I probably said that 1,000 times throughout the video, but truly it was. The quality was so high and everything was so fresh. We were really impressed, and we can't wait to go back to try more food in Japan, hopefully soon. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button down below as well as the subscribe button, and let me know which restaurant you thought looked the best. If you're going to Japan, I highly recommend all of these restaurants. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.